To somebody the other day this week that we know that evil exists. So don't pretend that the devil is not alive and he's not working. And there's some people, just as how we seek to work for God, there's some people who will give up their life to work for the devil. You know, I don't know what you call it in your various different countries where you may be from, but people work obia. You know what I'm talking about? Necromancer. People work evil against people because they appears to be a threat to them. Some people feel threatened because you have an hairdresser shop here and they're going to open one down the road. Oh, you're going to take away all my customers. They believe that they can serve the whole Liverpool. Just one hairdresser shop is fine. You understand what I'm talking about? Jealousy takes over people's life and they seek to do, and sometimes they do dangerous things. People's place get burned down. People have evil spirit working against them. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. This is serious, beloved. Very serious. The devil will do whatever it takes to do in order to stop us from fulfilling a purpose that will work against him. But understand me, there is a divine design for your life.
Amen.
So it's not who is against you, fighting against you, is who is on your side. Amen?
Amen.
Who is on your side? The king of Egypt, very powerful man, felt threatened by the growth of God's people. They weren't in the upper class. As a matter of fact, they were slaves. Slave in Egypt. The king of Egypt felt threatened by a bunch of slaves. Even though they were in bondage, the Bible said they were still prospering. Would you say amen? Because God has placed his hand on the nation of Israel. And so the king of Egypt has seen their prosperity and decide that he's going to bring them down. Look with me in the book of Exodus chapter 1, everybody. Exodus chapter 1. Exodus chapter 1. And we're going to look at verse 12. You can read the whole passage again when you go home or sometime in your convenience. Exodus chapter 1. Verse 12. Exodus chapter 1, verse 12. You found it, say amen. Amen. You found the Bible said, but the more they what? Afflicted them, the more they what? Multiply and grew. And they were in dread of who? The children of Israel. You see, as the Bible makes it clear that Israel was slave in Egypt. But here, the Bible is telling us of a time when the people who were their master were afraid of the slave. You never heard that before, because the master is more powerful than the slave. So the master should not be afraid of the slave. It's the slave that should be afraid of who? The master. But it wasn't so much Israel that the Egyptians were afraid of. It was the God of Israel. Would you say amen? It was Israel, God, that were prospering Israel. It wasn't anything that Israel were doing good and they were working in favor. No, it's because God has already blessed them a long time ago. Would somebody say amen? So even though the enemy were trying to keep them down, they were rising in spite of the opposition against them. They were making progress even though they were held back. They were succeeding in the face of failure, and they were surviving when they were not expected to survive. That can happen to all of us because we put our trust in God, and God has blessed us. Amen. God blessed Israel tremendously. But understand this, that many years before, God told Abraham that his children would be slaves in a foreign land. And a time would come when he would free them, when he would release